Hello, everybody. God, I'm sleepy. This is Yoko's Anime Reactions, and I know that I probably have already gotten 3 videos up today. I think I actually did get 3 up today. But I figured I'd get this review out for Cells at Work Code Black episodes 6 to 8. And they are very eventful ones. Actually, they all are, to be completely honest. Dang it, I just checked the freaking video. God, I'm so freaking sleepy. Hang on, let me check the actual episode. Anyway, a lot of stuff happens. Essentially, a lot of stuff that will, bad life-ending stuff can happen in these episodes. One is a blood clot. More importantly, a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in the lungs. And that's actually episode, that's episode 8. Hang on, episode 6. Oh yeah, kidneys. Episode 6 was the kidneys, and the guys have to go and get cleaned up after getting, dirty, and the kidneys help to do that. They said they have to do it 24/7, and that's essentially, dang it, there was a nickname they had, the silent something. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. And they have kidney stones to deal with as well, and it causes damage to one of the things where a bunch of the red blood cells and white blood cells fall into the bloodstream and essentially die. And this causes some germs to get into where the kidneys are, and the white blood cells are essentially outnumbered at this point because not only due to the whole gonorrhea thing, but also, the whole gonorrhea thing is what caused the white blood cells to be very, very, very short-staffed, I guess you could say. The elderly nephrite, I think is what they were called, ends up defending some of the other younger nephrites, and this ends up causing her to die, obviously, because of the injury she sustained. And they essentially, have to keep going back to doing their jobs despite this, and it sucks for them. And another thing that happens... God dang, I'm tired. The main character, Red Blood Cell, the one with the glasses, his friend starts to become a little bit jealous of how good he's doing in comparison to how he's doing. And this gets even more obvious in episode 7 and onward, where... Oh dear. Gotta wake myself up. Sorry, guys. He essentially thinks that the gap between them is getting, wider and wider and wider, and he can't catch up. And those two jerky red blood cells start to tempt this guy into going for a drenching, which essentially is caffeine, energy drinks. And we all know what happens if you get too much caffeine. And you're one who gets really wired when you have caffeine. Caffeine crash. And they have an issue where there was a hole somewhere that opened up, I'm guessing in a vein or something like that, or something bad, essentially. And he's coming off a caffeine high, and he's essentially exhausted. And his friend barely manages to get him away from there, or else he probably would have gotten sucked through and died. And he essentially appreciates his friend even more so despite this. And they actually end up running into an issue of ROS, which I don't know what that actually the actual term is for it. As for the abbreviation, where oxygen turns into ROS. And it causes cells to age really rapidly. And essentially kills off red blood cells. Maybe I'm thinking of free-roaming radicals is what I'm thinking of. Because those can kill cells. I know that much because I have a book, horror book, or mystery book, or something like that, where the main character died. One of the main characters featured is a couple, and the main character died in a drowning and hypothermia, and they bring him to a doctor whose job is to bring the person back from death. And that was one of the things they mentioned, was they had to worry about free-ranging radicals that could kill cells, essentially, when they were trying to bring him back. It's like a horror thing where he ends up coming back, but he ends up bringing something back with him, essentially. But, yeah, I think it was Dean Koontz that was the author of that book, if you guys want to look it up. Anyway, yeah, I think that's what that is. And the oxygen tanks that the red blood cell that ended up coming off the caffeine high was delivering those, and he would walk away, and then boom, the tank would go explode, creating ROS. And he's starting to think that it's him that's the cause of it, because it hasn't happened to his friend. And he essentially thinks that this guy doesn't need him, and they end up eating a sebum gland cell, and when he retires, the thing explodes like it's supposed to, but that tank explodes at the same time, causing an old person smell. What the fuck? Yeah, I think we all know that smell, that old person smell. We've been around some old people before where they've had that smell, and it's, ugh, no. Anyway, episode 8, oh boy, is where the pulmonary embolism comes into play. Those jerky red blood cells are obviously being jerks, and the guys stand up to them, which, right after they did that, a hole appears in the the vein, and I don't know how the others didn't notice the ground was breaking up underneath them before they fell in, and there's a big blood clot down there, and the guys try and knock them into the blood clot. I'm like saying, someone knock them into the bang pit. Nobody does. Thankfully, Miss White Blood Cell comes and helps them out of the pit. And essentially, the body that they're in, was apparently sitting for 2 days straight with no sleep, which makes me wonder what the person was doing. I don't think they were, jerking off, because they would have heard about, the whole erection thing. That would have come up into play. So it wasn't that. I don't think they were on a plane because, 2 days, no sleep, no moving at all. I don't think it was that. Maybe they were just sitting on the couch or something? I don't know. With no sleep, I don't know what the heck they were doing. Or maybe they were working. I have no clue. But, yeah, once the person starts moving again, the blood pressure goes up, which causes that blood clot to fly out of that hole and start rolling towards them. I kept on saying while I was watching this that if those jerky blood cells got caught in that, I would laugh. And they did. They did. Karma's a bitch. Yeah, never be jerks to people or else karma's gonna get you at some point. And essentially get stuck in the pulmonary artery, resulting in a pulmonary embolism. And the main red blood cell tries to go through a very narrow area, trying to get to where the lungs are so they can try and dislodge the clot and get the oxygen to the cells that are, being deprived of oxygen right now. Because if they don't, this could kill a person. A blood clot in the lungs can kill a person if they don't get rid of it. So this is literally a life or death situation right now. But thankfully, they do, in time, and yeah. Next set of episodes, not good for our main characters, particularly one of them. And if you want to know what the heck I'm talking about, you'll have to wait and see. I will see everybody next time.